Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay. Eric Salazar, small studio session, take one.
Hello, my name is Eric Salazar, and I am the clarinet guy. I'm a clarinetist and composer based in Indianapolis. I'm also the director and clarinetist with Forward Motion, Indianapolis's premier new music chamber ensemble, and the director of community engagement with Classical Music Indy. I'm going to perform for you today 3 originals. The first thing I'm going to play for you is a piece called Once Upon a Tide. This is something I made when I was in resident at the Escape to Create residency in Seaside, Florida in February of 2022. Basically, what you're going to hear in this is an accompanimental backing track where I took a field recorder and captured the sounds of waves crashing upon the beach. And then the clarinet is going to noodle on top of it, and it's supposed to evoke feelings of relaxation and peace. Yes.
Thank you.
So cartoons were one of the ways that I would become occupied after the school day when I was bouncing off the walls and I would sit in front of the TV, and Tom and Jerry was my favorite one growing up, and I heard clarinet. There's a lot of clarinet in the soundtrack, and of course they use a lot of classical music in that cartoon, and I just heard that sound and I thought, that. I want to do that. And then when it was time to try instruments in 6th grade, I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted the clarinet and nothing else. For a 21st century classical musician, because we're finding ourselves playing in spaces other than concert halls. So I'm outside, I'm at bars, I've got to deal with a lot of temperature changes and humidity changes, and I know that this instrument's going to last and be reliable. It's by Pereira 3D Clarinet Services, and Ryan Pereira is the owner and entrepreneur, an excellent performer as well, and Ryan's been working on developing a model, a fully 3D printed model, for several years, and he's finally done it. And the selling points for me on this instrument are that it is essentially crack-proof. It's just lighter, so I'm finding a lot less tension in my right hand, which allows me to be more dexterous, and everyone likes sounding better without much effort. And then the other really critically important thing is the price point. It is essentially a sixth of the price of competitor models, but meets the same standards of professionalism. And I just think it's a real game changer for people who, maybe they can't afford the $7,000 model, but they still deserve an opportunity to play on a professional, well-designed instrument. So this next piece is called "And Then I Found Myself." And this is, at the moment, probably my most performed piece of music. And it essentially combines 9 different loops on my loop station, where I build the accompaniment for the audience in the middle of the performance. Then once the accompaniment is built, I then go in to play the melody and give you the actual piece of music. The 9 different loop fragments represent all the different pieces of ourselves. We're a lot of things. We're not just one thing. And some of those fragments fit really well and coalesce together, and some of them conflict with each other. And this just represents all those different pieces of ourselves forming into one to become the true self. So this is "And Then I Found Myself." many of my colleagues who are classically trained, their career path is being performer educators. So they perform frequently, they teach a lot of lessons, and I found that my path is performer, composer, administrator, sort of a three-way approach to having a career. But I found that I really appreciate having control over administrative details because that allows me to make the music happen the way I want it to. And so in that sense, I'm the director of community engagement at Classical Music Indy. And what we do, in addition to outreach programming that brings live music opportunities to people who wouldn't normally have it, in addition to that, we commission, premiere, and make studio recordings of new works every year. And we do that in two main ways. We have our best-known project, the Micro Composition Project, which happens annually, and we commission 4 composers to write a new piece of short 3 to 5 minute chamber music that my ensemble, Forward Motion, premieres and produces studio recordings of. And in addition to that, we have a project called CMI City Sounds, where we commission a composer to write a site-specific piece of music, and then we record that piece of music at that site, and then make a video recording of it. And once that video is edited and published, we then create QR codes to place up in the spaces so that while you're at that site, you can scan the QR code and witness this piece of music that's crafted just for that space. I fall under that category of new music. I'll also sometimes refer to it as new classical or newly composed music. And it's essentially a genre that is both carrying on the tradition of the classical music era and also changing things to meet the requirements of our time here and right now. The critical difference is in newly composed music, it is the tradition of notation, so writing and reading music, as opposed to the tradition of learning and playing by ear. And I find a lot of value in both of those, and to be candid, a lot of my music combines elements of those, so it's written down, yes, and then has improvisation sections as well. But that's how I would describe it. It's newly composed music that is using some sort of system of notation of writing and reading music, but is meant to be in the aesthetic of modern society. So, this next one is called Lost Soul, and I'm going to be playing it on my bass clarinet. And bass clarinet is basically a giant clarinet that sounds lower than the regular B-flat soprano clarinet. And it's my personal favorite instrument. It has a beautiful mellow low register, but can also sing up in the high register. And Lost Soul is a piece of music that is about wandering aimlessly. This one doesn't have a happy ending. This is about what happens when someone loses their way and stays lost and does not become found. And it's not meant to bring you down. It's meant to commiserate with you. If you yourself feel like you're wandering, if you're lost, it's meant to demonstrate solidarity and to show you that you're not the only one who is lost. And hopefully, by the end of it, you will feel seen and heard and a little bit better about how everything is going these days. So this is Lost Soul.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very hypnotic, too.
That's the goal of that one. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my music today. My name is Eric Salazar, and I am the clarinet guy. All of my social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, those are all at the clarinet guy, all one word. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, anywhere you stream content. I'm there as Eric Salazar, Salazar. And if you listen to my music, feel free to give me a follow. And that really helps me make sure that I'm spreading my music around and giving it to people who actually want it and enjoy it. I also have a website, ericsalazarclarinet.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter and get notifications on upcoming performances and album releases. Thank you for listening to my music today. Yay! Thank you.